Hi guys, my name is Lisa and I've been taking creators from 0 to 6 figures a month, and honestly there's so much good content that needs to be talked about and needs to be understood in order to really get ahead in whatever you're doing. So I want to talk about conversion today, and especially Polaris Star. You might be wondering, what is it? What is that? I've never heard of that term before. But to put it simply, it's the end goal of your total system. It's the desirable target of your entire outcome. This is what you're doing this for. For example, if your end goal is 200 subs per month and you're already getting more than 2,000 subs per month with, let's say, 4 million views per month, then it means that you've hit your target. You've reached your Polaris Star. And does not matter how you get there. It means that you figure something that's been working for you to get to your Polaris Star. It doesn't mean that you need maybe 10 million views on every video or anything like that. It just means that you hit your Polaris Star by any means that you are taking. And even, for example, if your views were unsatisfactory, you're thinking, oh, I'm getting so low views, but you are getting consistently more than 2,000 subs, then you are good. Then it means that you've hit your Polaris Star and you are correctly targeting your audience niche. So what do you do after? What do you do after you hit your Polaris Star? You keep what you're doing. You're not changing anything. If you find something that's genuinely working for you, why would you change that? Just do better, become better at what you're already doing. You can iterate the videos, you can do better, you can kind of same idea, different fonts, you can reiterate on those, try to rethink, recreate all of that content, but do not change it. Just work around what's been already working. You scale that system. And honestly, if it ain't broken, then don't fix it. It does not need to be fixed. Even though you think, oh, my views are not that good, my followers are not that good, my stories are not that good, I don't know anything. But if you are hitting your Polaris Star target, you are good. Just focus on what's been working for you already as a creator and keep doing what you're doing. You are upscaling the system that you built, and it means that you are really fucking good at what you do already. So keep doing what you're doing. You are correctly targeting your niche. So now I want to talk about something that's been working for my agency. And again, I want to emphasize, if something is working for you, you do the same. There's not going to be a set rule, a set instruction on how to hit exactly what you want, because it depends on the person, depends on the way they present, the way the content is perceived by the audience. So again, once you find formula that's working for you, don't lose it. Keep doing what you're doing. It means that you are good. And again, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. There's nothing to fix. You might as well break everything. So I want to focus on 5 things today. It's going to be a really short video. I want to talk about suggestive visual implications, and then suggestive implications, subdefine more, implied and non-implied color actions, and watch time. I put some examples for each one and I'm going to take you through. So let's start with suggestive visual implications right here. You can kind of see. I think you know where this about to go. Okay, and I'm going to show you the next one.
Tight? Of course it's tight. It's a fucking 2-seater. Like, there's no room in.
So suggestive visual implications is the type of reels that are, oh, I know where it's heading, I know where it's going, I know where it's gonna be. And you notice that the guys in the background are not doing anything, and the girl is also just standing and she's just lip syncing. And if you check the comments under that video, they're crazy. And that's because there's suggestive visual implications. They didn't state anything, they didn't do anything, they didn't make out or anything like that. However, that's why you give them a little bit of incomplete information, but in a suggestive way, and it makes the mind wander on its own. And same with the second one. She's basically not doing anything. She's sitting in the car talking about the car. It's a 2-seater, but again, the way she's doing it and the visual information, she was sitting with her legs kind of spread open, so that gives you a boost right there. And suggestive visual implications kind of sparkle something in your mind, whether you want that or not. It just happens. Okay, next one I want to talk about is suggestive implications. Let me go through these together.
The type of man that I need is the one who can give me that makes it look like I'm being electrocuted, like where my back raises up and my head starts twitching.
So let me show you the second one.
For the first time, I was disappointed that men's didn't have suction cups.
Okay.
The Japanese had something right with that.
Okay, so in these ones, the suggestive, you can see that it's already suggesting, it's already explicit, and that's the point of these ones. It's usually auditory, and it's a story, or somebody's talking, or maybe it's a podcast, or they're sharing something that they're thinking, and they're doing that in a suggestive manner, in a way that she was making faces, she was like twitching, and she was like, oh my god, yes, that's something, you know. It's really, really provocative, and even though it looks too much, however, it is a suggestive way, and it's working really well, and it provides shock to the viewers and to the audience. That's why they want to watch it and want to learn more about it, because that's not something you see that much often. And it provokes the audience mind to literally picturing something sexual in a way, because they're already talking about, like, there's no a way of escaping this. They're already talking about something dirty. Your mind is going to go that way too, and that's the reason why it converts so well. And they want to see it in action, because what's told, they're already thinking about. You cannot stop the process of what you hear, what you think about. It's already started, so your mind just keeps following the route. The viewers want to see it in action, and that's the truth. You're already talking about, you already made them curious about it. You already have a visual stimuli and a suggestive stimuli that's talking about it, and you cannot stop something from, you know, and you cannot stop something from, you know, like, you're already talking about it. Your mind and your audience mind is already wondering that way, so there's no way to prevent that. It's already there. So they actually are working so well. For example, she was twitching, she was making it really suggestive, like, oh my god, I was so disappointed they didn't have suction cups, like men's, you know, everything like that. And it's working so well because it's a auditory, and it's a story of someone, or it's an interview or a podcast, and it's literally your mind picturing that as they are talking about, as they are going, because they're already talking about it in an open and explicit way. You cannot stop your brain from, like, just not thinking about it when you're literally being told that information. And it's also providing a really good shock value and factor to the video content. That's why it's converting so well. People are shocked, and people are more likely to go find out for themselves. They go check out their page, check if they have OF, and it really provokes the audience mind to literally be picturing something sexual with the person in the video, because they're already talking about it, and you cannot really stop it. That's the reason why it converts so well. For some of the viewers, gonna be, oh, what the fuck, like, I'm not watching that. But for some of them who are staying, and they're gonna picture something along the lines what's being said in the video, and that's why suggestive content is working so well. I want to talk about the sub to find more. I do think it's really great examples. Let me. You can kind of see second one. So sub to find more is about the effect that, for example, someone's clothing doesn't actually reveal anything, yet the way it fits is enough to fill in your information and gap, that your mind actually wanders on its own naturally, and the mind actually fills in the rest for you. You cannot stop that. And the outfit creates the informational gap, making audience curious about the body underneath the clothing. Without anything being explicitly said or shown, it can be a full bodycon dress. However, if the girl is wearing it and she has a nice body, your mind naturally is gonna wonder, oh my god, her body's probably nice under it. So yeah, for example, for Camilla's videos, it was the tight dress or a tight bodysuit that she wasn't doing anything explicitly done in the videos. However, it is a tight and a pretty clothing on a pretty girl, so the viewer wants to see the rest of the body under it. Okay, so that takes us here, and I want to talk about occlusion and visual perception. And in vision science, for example, occlusion is when a part of an object is blocked from the actual full view of the person. However, the brain automatically tries to complete the missing information, the missing gap, even if it's hidden, even if it's something that's not shown. For example, you see a little bottle of something covered by leaves, but you still know it's a bottle. You kind of still have an understanding on what it's going to look like. It can be applied to anything, and it's actually fun to think about it. It's because many years ago, when humans were still developing, your brain needed to act fast in order to survive. That's why your brain constantly and instantly tries to fill in the missing information, because missing information might be the tiger behind the bush. That's why it's trying to actively recognize something and fill in the information, and especially the informational gap, because the mind feels really anxious without filling that. So it happens naturally for you, and it's just a basic perceptual process in the brain and human psychology. with anything that's partially covered. It can be applied to anything. And I want to talk about Gestalt's principle of closure. Kind of same thing. The mind tends to fill the incomplete visual stimuli or information, creating even a whole thing out of the small little pieces. For example, when a clothing or expression or a tied bodysuit suggests something and outlines something that, sparks your interest, your brain literally completes the hidden form itself. And I have some fun examples to show here. For example, you see a triangle here and you see a square right here. However, this is literally just a Pac-Man figures, 3 of them, and you see the triangle even though there's no triangle in the picture. Your brain just fills in the partial information that's missing to complete the actual whole object. And again, here it's a bunch of triangles and fucking Pac-Mans. However, you see a square. You cannot tell me that you're not seeing a square. If you're seeing something else, you're gay. So that's just how the brain works. It's just easier for the brain. It is for survival, basically, for the instinct to recognize things faster. That's why it fills it in right away. Even though there's no figures shown, you still see them because your brain just fills in the informational gap. So next one, I want to talk about the call to actions, implied or not.
For $100, tell me what you do for a living, but without talking. Influencer? TikToker. Oh, wait. Okay, here you go. I'd subscribe. For $100.
Okay, and next one, I want to talk about this.
How does it feel to have a sister that has an OF?
My friends always ask me if it's pink, but I don't really know what they mean by that.
NANI?
Do you know?
Jesus Christ. Click the link in my bio. I can't. So how does it feel to have...
Okay, so the first video has the non-implied call to action. It's when someone is not explicitly telling you, oh my god, sub my, follow, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications for me. It's literally ran through and might not be as good if it's someone who's watching your thing for the first time. However, non-implied call to action might work really well in some cases when it can be just hinting at someone and saying, oh, I dub or I subscribe, and or something like, oh, you'll see me subbing as well. They're not specifically telling you to do and you don't feel really obligated to do it or anything, but it still puts the idea in your mind. So the second video is the implied call to action, and it's okay to have them in the video and be put there as long as the video allows it, in the sense that if it feels right and it doesn't feel really forced, and you are talking about subject that you can say it in a non-serious way and just kind of like paste it real quick, then it's fine and it doesn't feel forced, and that's what you really ideally want. So it takes us to watch time, and on average it takes about 7 hours of consuming content to feel like you actually somewhat know the person online, to become familiar with what they do, what kind of person they are, and honestly trust them more. And if you say, and for example, if someone's watched your content for 7 hours and if you say, oh, sub to my OF, they might as well do it because they watch so much of your content, and why not watch more? It's right there, and they're just more likely to listen. So it's really important to be consistent and keep posting, and it's okay if there's a latency between posts and subs. However, it's just really important to get yourself out there so people get to know you. Even though it's videos for you, it's like random videos throughout every day, but for people, when they scroll and when they check out your page, it's literally, they literally get to know you more. With the more videos you have, the more kind of information you show them about yourself. So the most important metric of the algorithms on both Instagram and TikTok is going to be watch time. If you really want someone to be hooked onto the video and watch it from the beginning to end, you can give them something, you can make them curious about something, give them a little something, give them a little treat, but don't give them the answer yet until the very, very end. And only at the end, because that's the whole purpose they're staying in the video for. Why it really matters is because if someone is watching your video and if they watch it from the beginning to very end, it's going to push the video out for more people to see. That's how videos go viral. For example, if 50% of the initial audience watched from the beginning to the very end, it's going to push it onto the next stage of the algorithm, and that's how it really goes viral. And so please remember that it's critical to literally have these questions answered when you are thinking or creating a content that you want to be converting. For example, the first thing you have to think when you are watching the video, when you're presenting and we're trying to create a video, you need to give something to the audience. For example, is there an immediate threat or opportunity present? For example, a hot girl plus suggestive content and scrolling without nothing else to do. And your answer should be yes, there's pleasure to myself, and it's natural. It's a primal instinct of people to act on things and to literally just accomplish pleasure self in this case, and the chance to connect with her OF as the result. And if the first answer to this question is going to be no, the chain is not going to follow. There's going to be nothing in action. There's nothing for people to act on. So you need to be really thinking from the audience perspective. Why would they watch your video? Why would they watch this particular video? Does it have anything? Does it have something to? Is there an opportunity present in the video? And if the answer is yes, there's going to be following chain reaction that can bring you people, can bring you to your OF and convert regular followers to subs. So the decision that you have to think about when you're making the video is, oh my god, does she have an OF? Let me check if she has it. And if she does, then you will connect with her. So those are just some things and tips to keep in mind when creating content that you want to really convert, because seriously, without that, you're not gonna get ahead. So honestly, thank you for bearing with me through this video. Thank you for watching it, and I hope that it was helpful. And if it was helpful for at least one person for like 5 seconds, I'll be happy and sleeping peaceful tonight. So thank you guys. If you have any question or suggestion, please feel free to reach out. Like, it's free to text and my Instagram is right there. I'm really ecstatic to just see any feedback, to be honest, and smash that follow button. I'd really appreciate that. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.